Hi everyone, I hope you're well. My name's Simranjeet Mann and I am a trainee solicitor for a UK top 20 law firm. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about things that I know now that I've nearly finished my training contract compared to what I didn't know when I was just about to start my training contract. For a bit of a summary about my training contract journey, I'm now in my fourth seat. My first seat was construction litigation, my second seat was real estate, my third seat was a corporate commercial in-house client secondment, and my fourth seat is a bit of a lot of things really. It was a part-time commercial secondment in-house as well, from Monday to Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday I work in private practice in the commercial team with a bit of an overspill with some work in IP litigation as well. So I've had a broad training contract experience, I'd say, and in today's video I'm just going to really be reflecting on things that I literally did not know until now, until I've nearly finished my training contract. Before we start, however, we have an ad break. Don't hate me though, I'm just trying to live my best influencer lifestyle. Today I want to introduce Saatiya, a brand which is ran by a really inspirational South Asian woman. We love our brown queens. I was kindly gifted their natural protein powder to try out. This brand caught my eye as their protein promotes gut health due to probiotics, improved digestion, allows you to have better sleep, glowing skin, healthy hair, and raised energy levels. What's not to love about this protein powder? I was gifted the cocoa flavored powder, and here's me trying it out. It was paying. I thoroughly recommend. Check out the brand via the link in the video description. So let's jump straight into it. So the first thing that I felt like I didn't know when I was doing my training contract applications was the fact that you have to find ways to be creative in your career. And what I mean by this is when you are applying to law firms, one of the transferable skills that law firms want to see in you is for you to be creative, for you to be innovative. And throughout my training contract, I felt that in my day-to-day tasks that I was given, you are not necessarily doing the most creative things. Like, you're not making decisions by yourself on behalf of the client. A lot of the time you are drafting documents that have been based on precedent or templates. That doesn't really have much creativity, but there are other skills at play there, like attention to detail. And I just wondered, why is it that law firms look for creativity? And this is when I realized that you have to almost be creative to be creative, and you have to have that proactivity. So one way in which I've been able to show my creativity during my training contract is during a secondment, when I was identifying potential business opportunities for my firm to work on. I was also able to show creativity, for example, in a few of my seats where I've been using Excel spreadsheets. Now you may be thinking Excel spreadsheets and creativity, that doesn't match, but the thing is I was able to identify some formulas that really helped us out. And I think I was able to really display my creativity here by thinking, okay, you know what, I've been given this task. I can either do it manually by going through each row, or I can find some sort of formula that actually does the job for me and does it so much quicker as well. So that's one way in which I was also able to show my creativity, and that was something that my colleagues really appreciated. The second thing I realized now in my training contract is how important personal brand is and how it can actually make you stand out as a trainee. A great trainee is definitely one, and you should definitely be prioritizing doing your work to the highest quality and the possible standard. But I think one thing that I've realized is that the way in which lawyers seek work now is changing compared to how it was before, through social media and through this ability to build your personal brand so people trust you. And when people want work from a lawyer, you're the first person that they think of. I really want to make a separate video about how social media helped me while I was a trainee, so do look out for that one. But I do think building a personal brand has really helped me out as a trainee. Attending networking events, even while I was a trainee, has helped me as well. And in fact, I attended more networking events while I was a trainee than when I was applying for training contracts, because I learned so much from other people from other firms, learning about different practice areas, and even about things like people who work in boutique law firms or work in-house. You learn more about their life as well. So the third thing I'd learned while doing my training contract is knowing people's management styles and how they prefer to work with you is really, really key. So for example, when you're emailing a particular colleague, they may prefer that you draft it in a certain way, you're more formal, for example. Some people may prefer that you provide, for example, research notes in the body of the email rather than as a document, a separate document, or others prefer it the other way around. So there's loads of different things like that I think you pick up as a trainee. The sooner, I guess, you kind of understand how your colleagues like to work, I think it makes your job so much easier. And one of the ways in which you can find this out is just by looking at how they've dealt with previous client matters, looking at emails that they've sent internally and externally, which you can find when they've been filed in the system for a particular client matter. And I feel like these things have helped me in understanding how my colleagues like to be communicated with. For example, some people also prefer instant messaging over phone calls, so it may also be worth, in that kind of situation, talking with your colleague and understanding what their communication style is and what they prefer. And the final thing I've learned as a trainee now that I didn't know at the start is I feel like resilience is the most important skill that you are required to have in this career. And before I started my training contract, I thought that things like attention to detail were important. They are important, but I feel like resilience is the one thing that really, I guess, keeps you going in this career. Like, for example, attention to detail, in my opinion, can be improved. If you give yourself a 60-page agreement to read every single day, and you go in and you redline and you check everything every single day in a new agreement every single day, your attention to detail is automatically going to get better because you are reviewing and doing that same skill and practicing it over and over again. Whereas, for example, resilience is one of those skills where I feel like you have to genuinely face some sort of rejection, or you have to face some sort of trough to then pick yourself back up so you go up into the peak again. And it's quite difficult sometimes to get out of that period. And there are several times when you're a trainee solicitor where you do experience difficulties and you have to build some sort of resilience. So for example, you put your heart and soul into drafting a particular email or a letter and you give it to your colleague to review, and they send it back and there's loads of red lines and comments. And in those situations you think, oh god, like I thought I did really well in that. The way I see it is when someone's redlining and giving you comments to provide back, you've just kind of got to pick yourself back up and think, this is me training, I'm still learning, I'm still literally in this seat, I've only been in here for 3 months, so you've just got to be easier on yourself. And that's something I've had to build a lot more during this process as well. Now, the final thing that I absolutely did not know and did not anticipate when I was about to start my training contract, and what I do know now, is seat rotations and the NQ process. I don't know about all of you guys if you are trainee solicitors watching this, but I found this process really tough. And I'm really fortunate in terms of the firm is really transparent and the systems are in place and you know what seats are available, etc. But I think it's more of a personal struggle that I've always felt with seat rotations. So for example, when I was deciding to go on to secondment, I was thinking there were so many kind of what ifs in my head. What if colleagues forget that I'm there because I'm always on secondment? You feel like you're making decisions that will affect the rest of your career, and if you make the wrong move, you could be in a practice area that you may not like, or because the training contract you're only really given, well, in my firm you're given 4 seats, you feel like you don't want to waste any of those options. You want to make the most of the opportunity as you can, but you don't know whether it's going to be worthwhile until you're actually in the seat itself. So I found that really difficult, but I didn't expect it to be so difficult. It was always a strategical struggle with me. What would be best for me? What should I do? I guess in terms of mitigating that, some of the things that is encouraged to do and what I did is I spoke to other colleagues, other trainees in the year above, or any NQs or associates who had trained in the firm and had done seats in those areas, and having those honest conversations about what the seat was like. That's really helped me as well. That's essentially my video today on things that I now know that I'm nearly qualifying that I didn't know when I'd started my training contract. If you're a trainee solicitor and you're watching this and you have a few additional points that you also have to add, please feel free to mention them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.